I'm saying, but these Epstein like characters have existed throughout history, whether they were kings or what. Human beings are human beings universally. So everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what
Had to be a mistake that there's no way he'd be involved in anything that foul. But the alleged incident dates back to 1996, back when Jay was still rising in the rap scene and just making his mark in Hollywood. The victim claims she woke up in a room with Weinstein and Jay-Z there, with Weinstein crossing every boundary imaginable. And the wildest part, word is Pusha T was the one who supposedly arranged the whole situation. This right here just makes the entire story even more shocking. People keep saying Jay was too fresh in the game back then to be mixed up with the big industry players, but that's not the full picture. Sure, in 1996, he was still seen as the new kid on the block, but that doesn't mean he didn't already have serious connections. There's a huge difference between being new and being unknown. Jay was already moving strategically, aligning himself with major players. And that's exactly why some folks believe he wasn't as innocent in the scene as people like to think. Back in 96, he wasn't just a rapper trying to blow up. He was positioning himself with power. And the proof? There are videos from that time showing Jay-Z with Weinstein, and honestly, it really looks like Weinstein was guiding him, almost like a handler or mentor pulling the strings. Go rewatch those clips and tell me it doesn't give off that strange vibe. It's eerie how controlled Jay looked in those moments. But that's not all. Leaked videos and photos have surfaced of Jay-Z at a couple of wild parties. And these weren't just regular industry events. One of those clips, too explicit to show here, is floating around on Twitter for those who are curious enough to dig. The footage allegedly shows Jay-Z in a room with another man, while two women, who seem to be hired entertainers, performed in front of them in a seductive way. The whole scene just adds more fuel to the already messy rumors around him. The second batch of proof was just as shocking. Clear photos showing Jay-Z and Harvey together at Diddy's 29th birthday bash. And that wasn't even the end of it. An old video from 2018 suddenly started trending again. The one where Kanye went off and called out both Jay-Z and Pusha T. Watching it now, it's wild how everything Ye said back then still hits the same today. It's like he saw through the whole game years before everyone else caught on. And just when you think it couldn't get any darker, a comedian came forward with heavy accusations, claiming that not only Jay-Z but also Beyonce were allegedly tied up in some kind of ritualistic sacrifices. The claim shook everyone because it targeted two of the most powerful names in music. Whether people believed it or not, the story kept spreading like wildfire. But Jay and Bey weren't the only ones caught in the storm. Katt had already spilled a long list of names, and now these released files are backing up a lot of what he's been saying all along. One name that really had the internet in chaos was Naomi Campbell. She got dragged non-stop. Reports say she took 5 flights on the infamous Lolita Express between 2001 and 2003. With 2 flights leaving straight from the U.S. Virgin Islands, the same place Epstein owned his notorious island. Some of those trips even headed towards Sao Paulo, Brazil, making the story sound even more suspicious. The files also revealed some chilling emails that seemed to show Naomi Campbell and Epstein discussing how to move records into the country. But everyone knows that records might not have meant music at all. The wording made people suspicious that it was all coded talk for something way darker. Some messages even hinted at her allegedly planning to service him, which sent shockwaves through social media. Then came the viral videos.
These extremists liked and provided it, and provided the way for you to to have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment.
Clips of Naomi supposedly recruiting models. But according to what people are saying online, that whole recruitment thing might have just been a front. The rumor is that she was actually bringing in young women for the industry's most powerful men, the same ones now being exposed in these files. The internet couldn't stop dissecting every frame, every photo, every handshake she had with Epstein. But let's talk about another big name, Bill Gates. Remember when he got asked on national TV if he regretted being friends with Epstein and he just brushed it off saying they only had dinner? Well, the files are painting a totally different story. Apparently, Gates and Epstein were more than casual acquaintances. They were close. The documents claim Gates was a regular visitor to the island, and one leaked email was especially wild. It allegedly showed Gates asking Epstein for antibiotics to secretly give Melinda after catching something from a group of Russian women. That revelation had everyone's jaws on the floor. Those leaked emails in the files really set the internet ablaze. They appeared to show Naomi Campbell and Epstein discussing how to ship records into the country for his infamous parties. But people online are convinced that records wasn't about music at all. It sounded like coded talk for something much darker. Some messages even hinted at her allegedly planning to service him, which made fans go crazy trying to piece it all together. Then came the clips. Viral videos showing Naomi recruiting models. But the word on the streets, that whole modeling thing was just a front. Many believe she was actually bringing in women for high-powered men behind the scenes. Men who are now being named in these files. The way those videos resurfaced had people side-eyeing every old photo of her and Epstein together. But it didn't stop there, because out of nowhere, Bill Gates' name jumped back into the mix. Remember that interview where the reporter straight up asked him if he regretted his friendship with Epstein? And Gates just smiled awkwardly and said he only had dinner with him? Yeah, that moment aged terribly, because the files tell a very different story. According to what came out, Gates and Epstein were close. Like, real close. The leaked documents suggested Gates was a regular visitor at the island, and one email allegedly had him asking Epstein for antibiotics to secretly give Melinda because he supposedly caught something from Russian women. That detail had the internet in disbelief. Fast forward to 2021 and everything makes a lot more sense. Melinda finally filed for divorce, walking away with a jaw-dropping $29.6 billion. Word is, when she found out what was really going on, she was absolutely heartbroken. And then there's Chris Tucker. Yes, Chris Tucker. His name also popped up in Epstein's documents and flight logs, showing that he was on Epstein's private jet back in 2002. Yeah, the same jet that Epstein used to fly to that sketchy island everyone's been talking about. When the story broke, Chris's
one world people exist because it's a very powerful concept to have and far too lucrative and beneficial to not be attempted.
Team tried doing damage control, claiming it was just a humanitarian trip to Africa with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, all for AIDS awareness and charity work. But let's be to question what he might have seen or known while all of that was happening. To believe Chris had no clue what was going on? Come on, that's a hard sell. When he finally got asked about his connection to Epstein, his whole vibe gave it away. He looked tense, shaky, and way too uncomfortable. You could literally see him struggling to keep his cool. He kept stuttering, dodging questions, and acting like it was just another random rumor. But his body language told a whole different story. And the reason so many people weren't buying that humanitarian trip excuse? Because Katt Williams had already put Chris on blast long before any of this came out. Katt had called him out for rolling in the dirt with Epstein, but back then, everyone brushed it off and said Katt was just being bitter or jealous. Turns out Katt was simply way ahead of his time. Fast forward to January 2024, Katt showed up on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shishi podcast and once again brought Chris's name up while talking about the possible new Friday movie. The way he spoke made everyone stop and think. Katt said the Chris Tucker he used to know isn't the same person anymore. That fame changed him completely. Then he dropped a line that had people replaying the clip nonstop. He said, "If I didn't know better, I'd be one of the people who think Chris is a good guy." That statement alone had the whole internet talking. Just when everyone thought Katt Williams had finished exposing the industry's dark secrets, he came right back swinging, this time dropping massive tea on Ashton Kutcher and Nick Cannon. And honestly, people weren't even shocked about Ashton. His name has been tangled in questionable circles for years. Ashton has built quite the shady reputation in Hollywood. He's been linked to some of the most controversial figures in the business, the kind of people no one wants to be associated with. On top of that, rumors have followed him for allegedly pursuing girls under 18, showing up at actual crime scenes, and even being accused of funding human mistreatment operations. And somehow, he always managed to pop up at nearly every one of Diddy's wild parties. Every time his name comes up, there's some kind of sketchy story attached to it. People online have also been side-eyeing his so-called anti-CT organization that he launched back in 2009. It was supposed to fight human trafficking, but now insiders are whispering that it might have been a cover-up, a way for Ashton and his close circle to keep doing shady business without the authorities catching on. The thought alone has people looking at him completely differently. And let's not forget what went down in 2023, when Ashton wrote a glowing letter to the judge defending his longtime friend Danny Masterson, who was facing serious SA charges. Ashton called him a role model, a dedicated husband, and a kind, respectful man. But when those letters leaked, the public went off. Fans couldn't believe Ashton was publicly supporting someone with that kind of evidence stacked against him. That moment completely flipped the way people viewed him. Now, as for Nick Cannon, he might not have been tied directly to Epstein Island.
This is the only reason that we can talk about these big Illuminati-like entities at this period of time, is just because of time. Like, they aged out. Like, you can't get in new, so everybody got decrepit over there, and they can't exchange, really, through this period of history. And so that's how we ended up with the Bob Lazars and everything. Throughout history, you could really, it was much easier to get people to not tell nobody.
Right.
As part of your job. You know what I mean?
But that doesn't mean he stayed quiet. He's been speaking out about what he knows, hinting that there's way more going on behind the scenes than people realize. The way Katt brought him into the mix left fans wondering what else Nick might be hiding or trying to avoid saying out loud. After Katt dropped those bombshells about Ashton and Nick, everyone thought he'd finally take a break. But no, he just kept going harder. This time, he started connecting even more big names to the same web of shady Hollywood dealings, and the internet couldn't keep up. Katt said straight up that a lot of the people fans grew up admiring are actually deep in the mix, working hand in hand with the same powerful figures pulling the strings behind the scenes. He brought up how certain stars love to act innocent in interviews, preaching about morals and charity, but behind closed doors, they're hanging out with the same elite crowd that's now being exposed. Katt said, "These people don't help nobody unless there's something in it for them." And that line went viral instantly. It was like he ripped the mask right off Hollywood's fake kindness act. Then he shifted the spotlight to how these celebrities use charity and activism to clean up their image. He claimed that most of them don't actually care about causes. They just want to look good for cameras while they keep doing shady business in the background. Fans started rewatching old award shows and interviews, pointing out all the fake speeches and crocodile tears they never noticed before. And when Nick Cannon got mentioned again, things really heated up. Katt hinted that Nick might have seen or heard things he's too scared to speak about publicly. He said Nick knows exactly what goes on in those private industry circles. The deals, the favors, the unspoken rules. But he keeps playing it safe to protect his own empire. That statement had people flooding Nick's socials, demanding answers. Katt didn't hold back one bit. He made it clear that the Hollywood machine is way dirtier than anyone wants to admit. Every time he opens his mouth, it feels like another layer of the industry's secrets gets peeled back, and fans can't tell if they're shocked or just finally waking up to what's been right in front of them all along. Right after that, Katt took things to a whole new level. He didn't just talk about shady behavior anymore. He started breaking down how deep the manipulation in Hollywood really runs. He claimed that the same elites controlling the music scene are also tied to major studios, media outlets, and even political figures. According to Katt, it's all one giant system, and most of these beloved celebrities are just pawns playing their part to keep the public distracted. He said the industry operates like a secret club. Once you're in, you either play by their rules or get pushed out. And the wildest part, Katt swears he's seen it firsthand. He talked about A-list actors and artists who suddenly went silent after trying to speak up. Their projects got canceled, their endorsements vanished, and they were blacklisted overnight. He dimly lit mansions full of people pretending to be untouchable. The more he talked, the more it started sounding like a movie plot, except it's real life. Now fans are saying Katt might be one of the only ones brave enough to speak on it openly, and that's why people either love him or fear him. Every time he exposes another secret, Hot World might come with strings no one talks about. Fans started reposting old interviews where celebs hinted at industry control, and suddenly those clips didn't sound like jokes anymore. Katt also hinted that this network of power isn't limited to Hollywood. It stretches into sports, fashion, tech, and even politics. He said that once you're inside that circle, it's all connected. The same faces, the same parties, and the same silent rules everyone follows. And when someone dares to step out of line, they get labeled as crazy, bitter, or washed up, the same labels Katt's been called for years. But what really shook people was when Katt hinted that even some journalists and media hosts are part of the cover-up. He claimed they're paid to distract the public with gossip. while real corruption stays buried. Fans started comparing how certain stories vanish overnight while others get pushed nonstop, and now people are questioning everything they see on TV. Katt finished by saying he's not afraid anymore, that he's already seen what happens when you speak out, but he's not backing down this time. He said he's done watching the truth get buried, and he's ready to drag every hidden name into the light. Now everyone's wondering, who's brave enough to stand beside him when the next wave of secrets hits? After Katt dropped all that heat, things started getting real uncomfortable in Hollywood. Suddenly, interviews were getting canceled, podcasts were being deleted, and celebs who used to name-drop Katt were pretending they never knew him. You could feel the tension everywhere, like the whole industry was holding its breath, waiting to see what he'd say next. Katt made it clear that once you pull the curtain back, there's no going back. He talked about how the same celebrities who preach positivity online are the ones doing backdoor deals in private. He said they love to post quotes about peace and gratitude, but behind the scenes, they're throwing each other under the bus for power and money, Katt said. They smile for the camera, but behind that smile is fear. Fear of losing everything. That hit deep because it explained why so many stars stay silent even when they know the truth. Then Katt called out how the media twists the narrative, saying they purposely turn outspoken people into villains so the audience doesn't take them seriously. He brought up how they did it to him, to Kanye, to Dave Chappelle. Anyone who spoke against the system suddenly became a problem. Fans started noticing the pattern and realized how easy it is for the media to rewrite reality. He even hinted that certain Hollywood managers and PR agents are paid to keep scandals quiet. According to Katt, those teams are the real gatekeepers, the ones who make sure damaging stories never see the light of day. But with the Epstein files now out, people are realizing not everything can stay hidden forever. And the craziest part? Katt said this is only phase one. He claimed that more documents, more footage, and more proof are still out there waiting to drop. And when they do, Hollywood will never be the same again. Fans are buzzing, wondering how much deeper this rabbit hole goes, and whether anyone else will dare to speak up before it's too late. Surprisingly, Nick Cannon didn't deny a thing. In fact, he straight up sided with Katt Williams. He said he agrees with almost everything Katt's been saying about these billionaires and the shady world they move in. Nick admitted that at first he thought all those rumors sounded way too wild to be real, like something out of a movie. But after everything that's come out recently, he said he's not putting anything past these billionaires anymore. Even the craziest stories suddenly sound believable when you look at the evidence piling up. But here's where it gets even more mysterious. People online have been speculating that Nick's situation might not be as innocent as it looks either. Some are saying that him having so many kids with different women could actually be part of some secret ritual he doesn't want anyone to know about. Whether that's true or not, the theory alone has the internet in a frenzy, and everyone's trying to decode what's really behind Nick's choices. Meanwhile, the reactions keep pouring in. One person commented, "The scariest part of the Epstein files isn't the names. It's how many of them are still untouchable." Another said, "Funny how celebrities are loud about every social issue except this one." And honestly, that's a question a lot of people are asking right now. Why the silence from the ones who always have something to say? At this point, it's clear Katt Williams shook the entire entertainment world to its core. He ripped the mask off Hollywood and forced everyone to face what's been hiding in plain sight. But the real question is, will these exposed names actually face justice, or will they keep walking free like nothing happened? Now it's your turn. What do you think about Katt Williams leaking those celebrity names from the Epstein files? Do you think any of them will actually see prison time? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, because this story is far from over, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.